everybody, how's it going? And welcome to my review of Crawl, a new horror creature feature from French director Alexandre Aja, and it stars Kaya Scodelario as a girl named Hayley, who's a professional swimmer, and her father, played by Barry Pepper, is trapped in his house in Florida during a Category 5 hurricane. He's trapped down in his basement, so she goes to check on him, finds out that he's trapped, has to try and rescue him. In the meantime, water levels are rising due to the floods, and because it's Florida, there's alligators everywhere, including in the basement. Now look, when I first saw the trailer for this film, throughout the trailer I was kind of like, because let's face it, creature features these days, they're kind of hit and miss, although really mostly miss. And I blame that solely on the fact that there's roughly 17 billion shark movies out there, many of which have no right to be in existence. And so anytime a movie comes along that features predatory animals, you know, it's kind of difficult to know what you're getting into. But then the reviews for this movie started coming in and they were actually really positive. This film was scoring well on Rotten Tomatoes and everyone seemed to be having a lot of fun with it. So I thought, well, you know, what the heck, let's give it a go. And I'm happy to say, yeah, I had a really good time with this film. It probably, you know, wasn't the greatest creature feature that I've ever seen, and I don't know if it'll quite make it into my top 10 for the year. But look, for the 90 minutes I was there, yeah, it's a solid, well-made film. So for starters, in terms of things I liked about the film, look, the performances were great. Realistically, anybody could have played the two characters, but the chemistry between them, yeah, it worked. But the one thing that really drove this film was the actual hurricane, and the digital effects in this film were absolutely top class. The storm and everything it looked believable, it looked menacing, and it made you feel uncomfortable being in the scenes where it was predominant. Thankfully, the alligators in this film looked absolutely great, because let's face it, whenever we see shark movies and stuff where the creatures, you know, look like they were, well, not completely rendered, yeah, it just sort of takes away the threat, or yeah. But in this film, no, the alligators looked really good. They were quite intimidating every time that they were on screen. And I just like the fact that this was a small, contained film. It was mostly set in this one location, in this house, you know, with two characters pretty much. There were some other characters throughout the film, but yeah, they were your sort of main focus in it. And I liked the character of Hayley was a smart thinker. You know, there's a lot of times in this film where her character has to use her brains in order to get out of situations. And yeah, I really dug that about her. You know, she, yeah, was a good, well-written female character. So the director, Alexandre Aja, has done a lot of horror films in the past, ranging from things like Piranha 3D to the Hills Have Eyes remake. He also did a movie called Horns with Daniel Radcliffe that was kind of weird and twisted, but probably my favorite one that he has done was a French film called High Tension, which was a really brilliant horror film. And yeah, so I mean, this guy, he knows how to direct tension, and there were a lot of tense moments in this film, a lot of times when, you know, you kind of want to put your legs up on the seat and you're just like really wanting these characters to get out of these situations and stuff. So yeah, you know, it was good. But as far as things I didn't like about the film, there were just some moments I felt like they did a reasonably good job at the start of developing the characters and showing us who they were, mostly through phone conversations between Hayley and her sister, and yeah, a few other interactions. But I did kind of feel like a lot of that dialogue was, you know, it was just there to give us information. It didn't really come across too well as natural conversations between these people. And I do feel that the relationship between Hayley and her dad was maybe a little overdeveloped. Like, there were a few moments in the film where things are really, you know, the tension's building and things are happening, and they kind of stop for a father-daughter moment about the family breakup and all this sort of stuff, and it was sort of like, really? Like, a lot of those moments felt out of place, and yeah, they just kind of put things to a halt. Yeah, but I mean, they weren't it didn't happen too often, but when they did, it really went into soap opera territory, and yeah, I wasn't a big fan of those moments, to be honest. And aside from that, they were just, like, in a movie like this, you've got to suspend disbelief, obviously, but there were just a couple of moments, like, these two main characters, and it's not a spoiler, you see these things in the trailer, like, they suffer from some pretty severe injuries in this film, and yet, they're kind of getting around all right. Like, they're still walking fine and stuff, and I found that a little hard to believe, like, just due to the nature of their injuries. I think maybe, they should have scaled that back a little bit, just to make it a bit more believable that these people, could still walk and move around. But look, overall, this film was far better than it probably should have been. Look, when it comes out on Blu-ray, I will own it eventually. I don't think it's a day one purchase. It's not the sort of film that really, is compelling me to want to see it again straight away. But, for what it was, look, I had a really good time watching Crawl. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who likes these kind of films, and I'm going to give Crawl an 8 out of 10. Alrighty, so thank you very much for taking the time to watch my review of Crawl. I guess the next cab off the proverbial rank will be The Lion King, so stay tuned for that one. That'll be coming up on Wednesday. And in the meantime, if you've seen Crawl, I would definitely love to know what you guys thought of it. And what are some of your other favorite creature features, like as far as the actual good ones go? Oh, hey, look, if you like the shit ones, fire away, let me know. So go right ahead, drop me some comments either here, Facebook, or Twitter. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.